You know that nagging fear? The one where you wonder if a manual backup was missed or maybe just configured a little bit wrong? Well, today, we're going to eliminate that stress completely. I'm going to show you how to automate your Oracle database backups using Enterprise Manager, basically turning a really risky chore into a set-it-and-forget-it kind of process.
I mean, for any DBA out there, this question is the stuff of nightmares, right? Because at the end of the day, data safety is the job. And in a big environment, every single manual backup is a gamble. It's like a ticking time bomb of human error, where just one wrong click could spell disaster.
It's way too easy for a setting to be off, or for a backup to just be skipped altogether. And when you're managing hundreds, maybe even thousands of databases, the only solution that lets you sleep at night is to take the human element out of the equation. You absolutely need automation.
And that right there is where Oracle Enterprise Manager, or OEM as we all call it, becomes your absolute best friend. It gives you this single, powerful dashboard where you can manage, schedule, and automate all your RMAN backups. It's all about bringing that consistency and, frankly, that confidence back into the whole process.
Okay, but we can't just jump straight to clicking schedule. Before we do that, we have to make sure our foundation is solid. There are two really crucial prerequisites we got to get in place to make all this automation work smoothly.
All right, let's break this down. First off, your database. And for our example, we're using one called CatDB. It just has to be a monitored target inside OEM. Pretty straightforward. But second, and listen, this is the absolute key that unlocks all the automation. You have to set up something called named credentials. So what in the world is a named credential? Well, the easiest way to think about it is like a secure, reusable password that's stored right inside OEM. It's what lets the system log into your database or your server and run jobs for you with zero manual intervention. It really is the master key that makes all of this automation happen.
So what you'll do is create these credentials, and then you'll associate them with your database target for different kinds of access. You'll have a normal one for just standard operations, maybe using the system user. Then there's a sysdba credential for the really high privilege stuff. And finally, a host credential, which is what lets OEM get onto the server's operating system itself. It's worth pointing out, though, you don't actually need the sysdba one just for setting up RMAN backups.
Okay, so with our credentials all set up, OEM basically has the keys to the kingdom. It can now access what it needs to. So, the next step is to create the blueprint, to define the exact rules and policies for how our backup job is going to run.
This is where we get into the nuts and bolts, making the core technical decisions. So, first question, are we backing up to disk or to tape? For this, we're going to choose disk. And what's cool is that OEM is smart enough to use the database's flash recovery area by default. That's just Oracle's special spot for all backup and recovery files. We'll also go ahead and turn on compression to save some space. And then the most important part, we select our preferred host credentials. That's the click that actually activates the automation we just configured.
Right, now over on the Policy tab, this is where we turn business rules into technical settings. First up, Control File Auto Backup. This one's a no-brainer. It has to be on. That file is literally the roadmap to your entire database. Then you set your retention policy. How long do we need to keep these backups around? We'll set ours to 31 days. And finally, we'll tell OEM to automatically clean up the archive logs after they've been backed up. This is huge for preventing your storage from filling up.
So our foundation is laid, the blueprint is designed. Now for the fun part. It's time to actually schedule and run the job. And the scheduling wizard makes this super easy. It's really just a few clicks. First, you choose what you're backing up. We'll do a customized whole database backup. Then you configure the details like, we want a full backup and we want it to run online so the database stays up. Next is the schedule. You could set this to repeat every week, but for our demo, we're just going to run it immediately. And the last step, which is great, is you get to review the exact RMAN script that OEM generated for you before you hit the final submit button. And once you click that submit button, that's it. Your work is done. OEM just takes over from here. It uses the credentials, the settings, the policies, everything you just defined, and it executes the entire RMAN process from start to finish, all on its own. And here is the payoff. You can literally watch the job's progress in real time right from the console. And a few moments later, you get that beautiful green succeeded status. That right there is your automation at work. And that is what peace of mind looks like for a DBA.
Now, seeing succeeded is fantastic, but any pro DBA knows that's not the end of the story, right? We need to verify. You have to look at the details and confirm what actually got backed up.
And this is exactly why you always check the backup report. OEM gives you this amazing breakdown. You can see the logical backup sets, you can see the actual physical files on disk, and most importantly, you can see the inputs. This is where you can go line by line and verify that every single data file, every archive log, and that supercritical control file were all included. This is how you get to 100% confidence.
So if you think about it, that's the real transformation here. We've gone from a risky, manual chore to a reliable, automated, and totally verifiable process. And this isn't just about saving a bit of time. It's about gaining real, solid confidence that your most critical asset, your data, is actually protected.
But that does leave us with one final, really critical thought. A successful backup is only half the battle. I mean, the real test, the only thing that actually matters, is knowing you can restore from it, right? And that brings us to the whole topic of validation. But that's a story for another time.